Hello world, I'm Linda Krundal. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Things in Stockholm. During these coming 30 minutes, we will not only show you things, but we'll actually present 3 companies or organizations to you. They're here to help you, small and large companies, national and international companies, to get into the Stockholm ecosystem. First, our friends at Invest Stockholm wants to give you a sneak peek on what Stockholm is all about.
I moved to Stockholm 3 years ago. I went from being a tourist and exploring all the nice parts of town and what the city has to offer to this actually being my home. There's this great balance between nature and the city. I don't own a car for the first time in my adult life, but I don't need it. And the fact that everyone can have access to higher education makes it a very unique place to teach, to work, and to do research. There's also a lot of international students coming in that enables all these creative companies and ideas to emerge from those groups.
Feeling of living in a big city, but I also like that feeling of getting a bit of a break and being able to escape it. I think there's a lot of balance at Swedish companies, and here when you have the so-called flat organization, I think it makes for a better place of innovation. If I felt there was a problem, or if I felt that there was something that needed to be innovated on, I have this feeling that I could go to people that were high up at the company and that I could try to make the company better.
I'm in a place where I can be myself, where I can express myself, where it's okay to cry and no one's gonna say, oh, you're weak. I went through like real life feelings. I'm doing things that I never thought I'll do. And people don't really care who's doing what, they just want to go support. That's how a community should be. The people here, like, they make me feel at home. Do things to satisfy yourself and not do it to make other people feel belittled. I think that's the secret formula of Stockholm. To be humble.
Thank you very much. And I would like to introduce Ariane Bouquet-Pousset, who is the project manager startups at Invest Stockholm.
Thank you.
The stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Nice being here. So shortly, you guys just saw an amazing movie of what Stockholm is all about. And when you try to re-explain why companies should come to Stockholm, it's not easy. But I don't know if you see the slide on the side about the Stockholm tech ecosystem, but we made it a couple of years ago, just so everybody can see what's needed to have a mature ecosystem. Because a lot of the companies and cities that I meet, they want to replicate the Stockholm ecosystem, and it's not done in a second. And it's also something that we worked very long and hard to have this one. And we continue working with different verticals, and we see big companies and large corporates coming here in the ICT sector, and also in finance and insurance. So I don't know, there's a lot to tell about the Stockholm tech ecosystem, and I think we're going to have a panel discussion later on. But a short introduction, and Invest Stockholm, for you guys that don't know what it is, it's the investment promotion agency of the city. So it's free of charge to contact us. If you want to establish a company here, you're always welcome to contact me or one of my colleagues. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ariane. That was a really, really short peek, but I think you all got a sense of Stockholm and the feeling that we have here. Thank you, Ariane. I'll meet you again soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
So if you want to kick off your company here, or if you already have a company and you want to move it here, move your headquarters here, or have and have it grow here, one important player that you really need to know about is STING, Stockholm Innovation and Growth. They have also prepared a short story on what they do. Have a look. Seen a short video on Sting. Welcome back. And here with me now I have Olof Berglund. He's a business coach of Sting.
Correct.
Yeah. And Olof, when do you think a company should get in contact with Sting?
You should get in contact with Sting when you have a startup that you want to grow and get out in the world to get success. Then is Sting an excellent environment to get into.
What is unique about you? There are so many incubators out there.
I would say that there are a few things that makes us unique, but all of us that are working as business coaches at Sting, they have been entrepreneurs themselves, so they know exactly the environment that entrepreneurs are in. We have access to investors with our own network of investors and 2 small VC funds that are connected to us. And one thing that it really sticks out and that makes us different versus all the other accelerators that I know of at least is that we have a known recruitment service. And this means that we recruit plenty of people to our startups on a yearly basis. In some cases it can be a tech person that you need, but also it can be a commercial experienced person that the companies are in need of. This is really something that we are proud of, and we are making something like 150 to 200 recruitments on a yearly basis to our companies.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. So we're one of the biggest players in that field, and especially among startups.
You mentioned, you mentioned financing there, and I think also you focus a lot. You're also one of the founding partners of Ignite Sweden, which is, I'm also proud to be part of that group.
Exactly.
So it really supports throughout the journey.
We are very happy to be part of Ignite because one of the things that we're working hard with, and that is of course to create business for our startups. And it has always been difficult for startups to get in contact with large corporates, but through Ignite we have seen an extremely successful platform to really get in contact with the right persons at these companies and actually get business going. So they can find the first paying customer through that network.
So if you have a startup now anywhere in the world who thinks, okay, Sting sounds really interesting, what should they do? How do they apply to you?
There are several ways to do that, but one way is of course that you go into our website and there you can find forms where you can fill in to one of our 2 programs, the accelerator or the incubator, and fill in all the information. And then we will contact you after that to set up a meeting. Otherwise, you can contact one of the business coaches directly that you can find on our website.
Do they have to be physically in Stockholm?
Well, I would say nowadays, in these specific times, we are a little bit more flexible on that side, but we would like to have them at least a few times on a yearly basis when we work with them to really work with the team on special occasions. But in these times, we are much more flexible on that one.
And what are your criteria? How do you select which ones to work with? Because I know from experience that you select like 5% of the
something between 5 and 8%, I would say, that get accepted to our environment. And so we are quite tough on our criteria. But I would say that one of the most important criteria is really that you're solving an important need for someone, or especially a lot of people. Because the more people that are happy about your solution, the bigger is the market and the bigger the company will be. So an important and big problem is one of the first things. It has to be a big international market for that company. It should be scalable also, and you should have a great team. And if you don't have that, when you come to Sting, we will, as I said before, help you to recruit and complement the team with the right persons that you need, because team is really one of the important things to create success in a company. And one of the last things also is that if you're solving one of the SDG goals, that is of course also a big benefit today.
And as you mentioned, big market, I know that one of the companies that was presented on the video was Yubico, which is an amazing big market.
Yes, they have really been one of our most successful companies. And they were actually one of the first startups that we worked with in the beginning, in 2002, 2003.
How many companies have you worked with by now, and what is the success rate?
Yes, by now it's something like 350 plus companies at this stage. And believe it or not, but approximately 70% of these companies are still up and running. And 30% are, as we say, zombies, living deads, or actually shut down. But in these early stages where we really go in, it's really a good rate, and we are very happy about that.
I'm really proud to work with you guys. I think that's it for now, Olof. Thanks a lot. We'll bring you back to stage later.
Thank you very much.
Today we're actually broadcasting from my home stage here at Things in Stockholm. We're located on the KCH campus. And some of our members wanted to share their experience of working with us during these years. Have a look at this.
Things was our first office, and it was an amazing experience. I mean, even if these days we have a pretty cool office just for ourselves, I still miss being here with many other companies. It was so great that every moment you go in the kitchen and you speak with some other people doing robotics or doing AI, and you just exchange ideas literally every minute that you're staying in this building.
Things is a great way to find out what's happening in the high-tech industry and with startups, even if you can't Google it. We're based on the west coast of Sweden, but we gain an awful lot from our Things membership by accessing the virtual and remote events. This allows us to connect to different companies that could be based anywhere in the world, and that brings an awful lot of value to us.
The benefits for us being here is that we can reach out and meet industrials in a much more simpler way than just using the phone. So it's an amazing community with also with a lot of corporates and industrial corporates, and that's very important for us.
We work with Things because they have a really broad network of deep tech startups, and these startups, they are corporate ready. So they are excellent to work with, and they can really help us reach our business goals. So for example, when we have specific challenges in either a new technology area, or recently we've been focusing very hard on our sustainability challenges. Things they've been there to help us find the right partners for this.
Things is one of our cornerstones. We have been working together with Things, I would say, as long as Things has been around. I know that WSI was very early in this. For my own part of it, I've known Things for at least the last 6 or 7 years, I would say. I was into IoT more than 10 years ago, but when I looked around and realized that all the interesting IoT companies was present at Things, I had to look Magnus up and go there myself as well. Being at the Things events is a great thing. You meet all kinds of people from all parts of the industry.
We actually been a part of Things and supporting Things since the start. And I find it very useful for me personally as the head of strategy, and also for NCC to be able to connect to what's cooking in the technology market and deep tech. But I also find it very useful to be able to connect with other member companies, where we exchange ideas on how we work with startups, how we bring ideas into our markets, and also find good opportunities together. So it's a good hub to meet small and large companies.
So there you got a chance to have a look at what our members say here at Things. We're really proud of that. I would like to introduce my co-founder and colleague, Magnus Melander.
Thank you so much.
You're evangelist, Magnus. That's a new title.
Yes.
What are we trying to do here at Things?
Well, let's say the following. Established companies around the world are having difficulties to understand their own domain. And this is actually accelerating, and it's all about the technology innovations and development. Smaller companies have difficulties to scale up, And we found out the mechanism that the smaller companies together with the larger companies can actually solve those problems together. So that's why we started Things, and we had created let's call it a club of corporate-ready smaller companies in the deep tech area, and larger companies in the industry, infrastructure, utilities, and mobility areas who are a little bit more, let's say, forward-leaning. And we work together with all of those to learn how to transform innovation towards value creation in large.
Great, and I can see that, I mean, we use the term deep tech community. That's a bit fluffy. What do we mean?
It's great, actually. It helped us a lot. Remember, earlier we always had to tell what we worked with: IoT, robotics, machine learning, computer vision, all of those things. Now we can just say deep tech. And when people say, "What does that mean?" I will say, "It's very difficult things." You know, that's what we work with.
So we want all the startups and grown-ups and the big corporates who work with difficult things. We want them to be our members. How many members do we have, Magnus?
We roughly have 100 members. Roughly half of them are innovation companies. We cover today mainly Swedish innovation companies. And the other half are established corporates. 1/3 of those are from other countries, ranging from Tokyo to Silicon Valley. So we're quite international on that part. We are expanding to also clever, sharp innovation companies, corporate-ready ones from other countries as well. You're all welcome to join us.
So assuming now, Magnus, that we have about 1,000 brilliant startups watching and probably as many corporates out there, why should they contact us? And what do they do? What do they get?
It's simply a very, very good community to learn, because every single company owns their own destiny and nobody else can help them more than sharing what they've learned and so forth. This is a great community to be within, where you will find answers to, I guess, a lot of the questions that you have in your own company, small or large. And we have great networks of people in other countries. We have great networks here, people like Sting. We work very closely with Sting, so we are well connected into the community of incubators and accelerators and so forth, but we also work with others abroad, and we try to expand those relationships as we speak.
Could you mention a little bit on some examples of the work we've done with with corporates, for instance?
Okay, well, this is the difficult part. So people nowadays want lists. People want lists and facts. Our objective here is to enable long-lasting, sustainable business relationship with an innovation company and a large company. Those things takes time to start with. Secondly, most people are not really happy to share those projects until they're ready. So I have a very good one that we recently was allowed to talk about. So we introduced Assa Abloy to one of the members here, MTech. They started to work on they actually turned production lines digital, and they have been working for almost 3 years now, and they've gone in production finally. And now they are actually going to other product lines and so forth. So now we're allowed to share that case. That's a very good case that actually started here between members in our little club.
Finally, it takes some time before it's finally public. And we also do a lot of these innovation challenges where large corporates come to us and say, well, we're looking at this area. Can you help us move forward? Tell me what companies to talk to and so on. Customized. So that's also very fun for us to do. I would like to welcome back Ariane and Olof on stage. So we have a few minutes, and I mean, now we're trying to summarize Stockholm and in some sense Sweden in 30 minutes to tell the world what it's all about. Why are we different, and why should they come here and work with us? If we have slightly different views here. So Olof, starting off with you, if you're a really small company, why would you want to establish it here or grow it here?
Yes, you should think about that here in Stockholm we have extremely many successful startups that we've seen over the years. And I mean, in certain cases, these startups has been really great international exporting companies also. I mean, I guess a few of you have heard about a company called Spotify, for example. You might have heard about Klarna. You might have heard about iSettle, for example. So, I mean, these are the kind of companies that attracts also others to start companies. So this is one of the great things that you get when you get here. You get into a great community of successful people, both as entrepreneurs but also as investors. So we know how to grow companies in this city.
And I think that's really interesting because the thing that we've had a couple of years now since they had some great exits, that money is really fed into the system now. So that feeds the next generation of companies, which is brilliant.
Exactly.
Also the skills.
Yes.
The skills is coming back, which is
Network,
great.
all that stuff.
I totally agree. I mean, that's one of the most fantastic part, that you have these mature entrepreneurs that's been around for a long time that are reinvesting their money, and you have the capital from the seed funding part up to other stages. So you kind of need to have a startup ecosystem where you have all the parts. You support the startups at very early stage, but you can also grow your company to a multi-billion-dollar company. And as probably all of you know, we're called the unicorn factory because we have the most unicorns after Silicon Valley, and that's really special for a country up in the north, and a city like Stockholm.
And Ariane, you also work with the big corporates that are out there to try to tell them why they should move a country office, start that in Stockholm, or move their headquarters here. Send them a message.
That, generally we have a really great business climate to do business in. And having a mature tech ecosystem also helps between the meeting of innovation to innovate more. So as a large corporate, you get to meet these new, fantastic, deep tech startups here when you're in Stockholm. So I think that, a good business climate, startups that have, social security, that they can continue to invent products it's a perfect match for big corporates and startups to be in this city, I would say.
Great. So Magnus, if you would send the viewers a message to bring with them from these 30 minutes, from Things' point of view, what would that be? What's their call to action?
I really think that what we've talked about already is that there are some at least differences in Sweden than in any other countries, and I happen to like them a lot. I've been working abroad for many years and so forth. I think we have a good kind of soil to do things here. And I think we also happens to be a very neutral, quite maybe boring country, because we are friends with most people. So it's a very good place to go from if you're going to export or expand south, north, east, or west. It's unfortunately a little bit far away from south, but I think it's a very good way to go here, tap into this, and then with the people and the companies here together figure out where to go or with whom to go to and so forth. We just have to remember that everybody needs to go global, large companies, small companies, but everybody cannot do that themselves. You need to find tools and vehicles to help you, and I think this is a good tool to help you. Start here and we can help you go further.
Sure, Ariane, what can you help the companies with? If let's say that they contact you after this session.
Yeah, so I work with the local business climate, but my colleagues work a lot with what's called investment promotion. So if you're a large corporate and you want to settle down an office in Stockholm, they can just call us, and it's free of charge. We help with everything from getting the lawyers. We have a multiplier list, so we can kind of do a soft landing for free, which is pretty fantastic, and not a lot of people knows about it. And of course, since I work with the local ecosystem, we can also put you in touch with people at Things or with other hubs or accelerators in the city. So Invest Stockholm is more like a facilitator for big corporations.
First contact.
Exactly.
And I think in some sense, Stockholm is kind of it's a small, big city.
It's a village. Everybody knows everybody.
We all know each other, exactly. So we can always, whoever they contact, we can try to connect to the rest as well. So that's really good. Olof, anything you want to send to the audience?
No, but I mean, as we talked about before, we are happy to meet new people and help innovators to grow new companies. So whenever you feel that you're in that stage and you want to avoid unnecessary mistakes, etc., we are there. So give us a call.
And I know especially you, Olof, in Sting, you've launched the Climate Action Program with 13 focus areas, and that's really been a global. You got applications from all over the world, so there's really a global reach there.
And we even have a small service for our members, which we call a man on the ground. So if you want to go here and start to tap into the ecosystem, well, we can help you with that as well.
Yeah. So really open for business, right?
Yes. I have my phone over here.
I hope you all got a good view of Stockholm and everything we can offer here, here or online in these times. I'm really happy that you joined us today, and hope that you'll get in touch with either one of us who you feel is relevant. Soon, we'll hand over the stage to our friends in Munich, Unternehmertum, so stay tuned. Thanks.